Hi, come on in. Welcome to Mimi's Reading Corner. Have a seat and get comfortable. I have more to share with you today. When we stopped our reading last time, Abram was in a little bit of a weak spot, having trouble believing that God was going to give him heirs, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, when he didn't even have a child, and he and his wife were getting old. But God convinced Abram to have faith in him, and he did. But how was Sarai doing? Let's look into that part of the story. Sarai, Abram's wife, could not believe that in her old age the Lord would give her a son. So she convinced Abram to follow a custom of those days and take her maid, whose name was Hagar, for a wife. Abram listened to Sarai, and a son named Ishmael was born to him. Though Abram loved Ishmael, and a special blessing was pronounced upon him, he was not the promised heir. He was not the son that God had promised. When Abram was about 99 years old, the Lord talked with him once more and changed his name to Abraham. Abraham means the father of a great multitude, and Sarai's name was also changed to Sarah, or princess of the multitude. Years after Abraham and Sarah first entered Canaan, the long-promised son was born, and he was named Isaac, just as the Lord had directed. When the child was weaned, his fond parents made a feast or a party for him, and all the servants and other members of the large household would be there to recognize him as their master's heir. Ishmael, who was still a boy but older, had been taught by his mother that this honor belonged to him. And when he saw Isaac recognized as his father's successor, the one who would be the one to follow after him, he mocked him. He taunted him. He ridiculed him. He really gave Isaac a hard time. And for this, Sarah asked that Ishmael, along with his mother Hagar, be sent away. And though Abraham loved his firstborn son dearly and was pained at the thought of him being driven away from home, the Lord told him to listen to Sarah and do as she suggested. So Ishmael was sent away with his mother, but God was with the lad. Abraham's faith had failed to stand the test of time, awaiting the birth of Isaac. So when Isaac was a little bit older, the Lord tried or kind of tested his servant Abraham again. He said, "Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest," he said, "and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon the mountains, which I will tell thee of." Abraham had doubted God before, but in his supreme test, his faith did not fail. With a heavy heart, he prepared the wood and the fire, and with his son, the two servants set out on a journey. After they had traveled for 3 days, the place came in sight afar off. Then, bidding the servants stay where they were till he should return, Abraham went on alone with Isaac. "Father," Isaac said, as they walked along together, "behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Though this question filled Abraham's heart with sorrow, he still trusted in God. "My son," he answered, "God will provide himself a lamb." And God honored his servant's faith when, with upraised knife, Abraham was about to take the life of his beloved son, the angel of the Lord called to him out of heaven and said, "Lay not thy hand upon the lad, for now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me." Then Abraham looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering instead of his son. Abraham showed true faith in God, and it worked out. Well, we're going to stop our reading there for today. Thank you for joining me. I hope you will join me next time, and until I see you then, happy reading!